Have you ever come across a money making method that's just kind of been too good to be true? But it isn't, and it actually works. Truth be told, these methods aren't usually very sustainable, and once more and more players catch light of the insane method, the method pretty much just fades away as it's just not profitable anymore. Today we're going to go through some of the craziest money making methods ever to have existed in Skyblock that are now dead, and don't really make any coins and aren't really worth doing. If you are planning on purchasing anything from the Hypixel store, make sure to use code NITROS. It gets yourself 5% off. Anyway, the first method we're going to talk about has been dead and buried for a long time. However, when it was working, it was just ridiculously good. Now there's some items that you can buy from the NPC and sell them to the Bazaar for a ridiculous amount of profit. Of course, you can only buy 10 stacks of these items per day and then they reset. As you can see, packed ice can be bought for just less than 9 coins per piece and sold for 43 coins per piece. Of course, the limit is there, so it isn't just ridiculously OP and basically a money glitch. Now there is a special mayor who actually changes this slightly. Diaz's shopping spree increases daily NPC buy limits by 10. In all honesty, Diaz has got to be one of the most useless mayors and isn't really elected very often. So instead of the stock being 640 on each of these items, it goes up to 6,400 or the equivalent of 100 stacks. Which means essentially that you can make 10 times the profit. Well, not quite, because obviously people anticipate the mayor changing, this perk changing, and then basically the price of these items go down in price because more people buy them and sell them to the Bazaar, and increasing supply, it makes sense. However, back when the Bazaar was first introduced back in 2019, there actually wasn't a limit of how much of each item you could buy from an NPC. Now of course, at the time it was so long ago, different items were way more profitable than others. I remember raw fish being really profitable for some reason, but you could literally just, well, this isn't very efficient. You just literally buy as much as you can and you could fill your inventory up, go to the Bazaar and keep doing that. Of course now there's a limit and it stops us from buying any more. I remember back in the day when I first started playing Skyblock, I didn't know people even uploaded YouTube videos on Hypixel Skyblock. First Hypixel Skyblock YouTube video I ever watched was 30 Virus making a video about this money making method. Shortly after it got fixed and they put a cap in like we have today. Damn, 30 Virus ruining money making methods. I would never do such a thing. I guess to make up for it, he didn't take Fatal Tempo, so fair enough. Anyway, make sure you subscribe to the channel, become part of the 25%, there's no reason not to. Also, you should join the Discord server, it's linked in the description of every single video. On to the next dead money making method. So when the Crimson Owls was added, there was various enchantments that were added to the game. Among one of those enchantments is Manasteel. I'm not going to explain what it does or anything like that because it's completely irrelevant. Basically, it was figured out that if you were to put a Manasteel 3 book onto any sword and sell it to the NPC, it sells for 100k. Now, if you put an offer up, a buy order for this Manasteel 3, it's going to take an age to fill and it's not going to be worth doing. Manasteel 2, who knows what on earth is going on with that price. Manasteel 1 is literally the only stable one realistically. Now at the moment, we can actually just go ahead and quick buy 4 of these books and then head straight over to the NPC down here. Not the mine merchant, it's the weaponsmith, and buy an undead sword. Okay, now we can literally just combine these books together into a Manasteel 3, put it on the undead sword, and we can sell it to any NPC for 20k profit. And there we go. 20k profit in, to be honest, a matter of seconds. Now that is not actually too bad. When I say dead, that is not dead. That still works to an extent. However, going like 6 or 7 months back, you could insta-buy a Manasteel 1 book for 5k. Of course, 5 times 4 is 20, meaning that you could make 80k profit each time. So I'm going to do a bit of a test. I'll take 10 minutes and I'll craft as many of these undead swords as we possibly can. At the end, we'll sell them all and see how many coins we make or can make in an hour. Now, I've got 100 mil in my purse, so it'll be easy to tell how many coins we make. It's been 10 minutes and we have a full inventory plus an extra 1. So let's see how many coins we end up on. Okay, and that's the last one. So we made around about 911k, which is 5.4 mil an hour, which is nothing, but if you've got nothing better than that to do, I mean, that's really easy. Now, I must have been doing something drastically wrong because you could make 4 times as much profit as that. And that would only still be around about 22 mil per hour, but people were reported to have been making like between 60, 80 and 100 million coins per hour from that back in its peak. So maybe the books were even lower than 5k each, and maybe people weren't just being as completely inefficient as me. Like, truth be told, that was terrible for me, it was shocking. But given a couple of hours of practice, I'm pretty sure you could get a good rotation down to a T. It's knowing how many books to buy at once, and basically so on. Honestly, with these profit margins, I mean, with the greatest efficiency, I think you may even be able to get close to 10 million coins per hour. I don't know, it's really not too bad for what it is, but it just was way, way, way better. Turning something that was too good to be true, basically just to a method comparable to farming. Just as boring as farming too, let me tell you. Now the final method that we've got to talk about today is one that we sadly lost to introducing new items to the Bazaar. Now for getting Diamond Collection 6, 5k diamonds, you unlock the recipe for diamond spreading. If you somehow don't know what diamond spreading is, basically it's an item that you put in the minion. So regardless of what minion it is, you put the diamond spreading in, and the minion starts to produce diamonds. The crafting recipe consisted of 1 enchanted diamond, and then 8 vines. You could simply quick buy your enchanted diamond from the Bazaar. It will literally cost, I think, just over a k. Yeah, like 1.4k, practically nothing. To get vines, you'll then head over to the builder and basically buy jungle leaves. Then you would head over to your trades menu, and then you can actually trade the jungle leaves for vines. Basically, it's going to cost you about 1.5k each to craft. Nowadays, diamond spreadings are on the Bazaar, and you can still make a bit of profit from them if you put offers up. However, these diamond spreadings never used to be on the Bazaar, as with a lot of items on the Bazaar at the moment. They used to be on the auction house. The regular market value on the auction house was anywhere between 8 to 10,000 coins. Of course, you've crafted them for about 1.5k each. There's a ton of profit to be made there. Now, you're not limited by how many jungle leaves you can buy, but you're actually limited by how many vines you can obtain via trades. It's 10 stacks just like everything else. Meaning that, in theory, unless somebody else buys the vines for you or you've saved them up or whatever, actually obtaining the vines, there was a limit to how many you could buy per day, essentially capping the amount of money you could make through this method per day. But as a beginner, this was a really, really good method. Now, depending on the time of day and the amount of people online, these diamond spreadings could go up to 15k, and they wouldn't stop there, they could go up to 20, and the highest I've ever sold a diamond spreading for on the auction house is 35k. Of course, considering the expenses were still 1.5k, that is a ridiculous amount of profit. And honestly, moving items from the auction house to the Bazaar has killed a ton of money making methods. Flipping enchanted ultimate books, such as, let's say, like One for All, Legion, Ultimate Wise, Wisdom. You could make literally millions and millions of coins per hour very, very easily on a brand new profile, but that's just not possible in the Bazaar anymore, really. By all means, you can make coins through different flips, but those exact items, they're really difficult to flip. Every time I would start a new profile or a flipping series, I would always start it off with the diamond spreading flip because it was so good. Usually, I would have just done it to give me some coins at the start and then basically do everything else in the game. And from the 10 stacks of vines, the most I've ever made was close to 2 million coins in half an hour on a completely fresh profile. Absolute insanity. I think that will just about wrap up today's video. Please let me know in the comments if you remember any of these methods when they used to work. If you did enjoy today's video, make sure you leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one.